Previously, we covered the band's early days, morphing from a fresh-faced 70s rock four-piece, representing the UK in the Eurovision Song Contest, into an 80s pop duo, storming the charts with a handful of wacky sing-alongs. They make a few quid, but air guitarist Colin Routh's inappropriate relations with a minor signals the end of a lucrative commercial run, with singer Barton jumping the sinking pineapple not too long after. Leading the pop sewage sector, they go from top of the plops, rubbing shoulders with the cream of the crap, and Spitting Image even do a skit of them with the chicken song, to kiddie fiddling, chart flops and the loss of their frontman. An ounce of remorse or decency would lead most hebophiles to take their money and quietly slip off the kids' entertainment radar, but once his case is sewn up, Colin changes his surname to Gibb, no doubt to complicate future background checks, and continues the school disco with replacement Dene Michael. Jumping into the 90s, Colin's tired of Dean mourning about time off and regrets making him a full-time member, deciding that from now on he'll just employ people like staff. He sets up Black Lace Limited and lets Dean go. John suggests open auditions, but Colin thinks he knows just the man to take them back to the top. A local rocker that he'd recently subbed a few Tetleys with. Rougher edge, grittier voice, more like Alan. Enter Hopcraft. Something about the recruitment process seems a little off. Or maybe that's the twisted genius. Spinal Tap in Bermuda shirts. But they say that the eyes are the window to the soul, and this guy looks like he's accidentally squirted Windex into his. John's unconvinced and doesn't think he fits the vibe, but Colin's made his mind up, so with upcoming dates to honour, they move forward. Dean's warned not to use the Black Lace name, so briefly plays the songs under the name Barracuda instead, whilst Colin and Rob take Black Lace back on the road, as well as re-recording I Am the Music Man.
Come on, clap your hands in the air and follow the music man!
It's a young crowd in tonight, and Colin's wasting no time introducing them all to his new friend, the Music Man.
I am the music man!
In tight leather trousers and a cartoon t-shirt, Rob's dressed to impress and feeling sharp with a fresh perm. This is big moment, and he wants it. In fact, he needs it. But with eyes like stab wounds, his blank squint cuts through the innocence of the preteen bender.
I come from down your way and I can play. What can you play? I play piano.
If we only do it in our minds, nobody will know.
Piano, 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 piano.
And now guitarless Colin, strutting around like he's the dog's bollocks, grinning awkwardly at anyone who fails to avoid eye contact with him, hoping nobody read about his case, as girls the same age as his victim dance right behind him in hot pants.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Rob's interpretation of this classic crowd participation callback is disappointing. One of the most familiar chants on the planet. An interaction hack that a monkey could execute, but he's let it down.
Okay, okay.
They're starting to enjoy themselves, but we've seen enough, and really not sure about Colin and his new friend.
Okay. Okay, okay, okay.
They soon released the single Penny Arcade, previously recorded by Roy Orbison, but it's not dumb enough, and unsurprisingly, nobody's interested. So they get back on with playing the classics around caravan parks, retro festivals, including a tour of Australia, where Rob loses his shit about the Greatest Hits album not having a photo of him on it. It's obviously criminal that either of them would be on the Greatest Hits album, but interesting to observe that three of them are all on this one together. Alan, Colin and Dean, that is. They release an alternative version of Cotton Eye Joe called Bullshit. It's awful, and rednecks get a hit with their superior version. In 1995, we get the terrible news that Alan's been killed in a tour bus accident in Germany with Smokie. having spent 10 years living his rock star dream, travelling the world with no congas, hawky-corkies or kids' TV, proving himself as a genuine talent. The 30th anniversary of his passing is this month, and we wish him peace and love. Colin and Rob release Electric Slide for what feels like his last roll of the professional dice, filming the video in Benidorm with a reasonable budget, but again, it's a flop, and this time Colin has to file for bankruptcy. A stinker of a year. He knows that he should have been releasing brain-dead crowd participation jingles all along, but with Alan having redeemed his murky musical past, has been reluctant to just pull his pants down for us. Luckily, the end of the 90s presents a wave of nostalgic love towards them, so they dry their eyes and snap up the opportunities, playing shows in Canada and America, as well as releasing several greatest hits albums. August the 15th is declared Agadoo Day, and they play 20 shows around the UK in one day for charity. 1999 is the 20th anniversary of their Eurovision performance, so they try to reunite the lineup, with Alan's son on vocals for a one-off show. Cormover Scorley refuses, saying that Colin still owes him money, so he's replaced by original member Ian Howarth, and the show goes on, with Colin and Rob headlining. In 2001, Rob quits after 10 years, tired from the live schedule, to spend some time at home. Realising that it's impossible to find another Alan, John suggests that his daughter Camille take over, to keep the operation tight whilst mixing it up a little bit. A touch of sex appeal maybe. It's eventually decided that she'll do it with her friend, likely so she doesn't have to be alone with Colin, and they record Follow the Leader. When the leader's a nonce in his 50s, shouting directives at two young ladies, it's hard to imagine that they ever thought this would work. With choreography affording them the luxury of sniffing their arses, it's all a bit grubby. And she even notices.
Everybody put your hands in the air, one hand in the air, and we go from left to right, like this.
Savile vibes ooze from his sun-kissed five-head as he desperately tries to work the floor of Safeway's foyer like an old pro.
Left, right, two times. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
Holy shit, this makes Agadoo sound like Stairway to Heaven, and even Colin's had enough. Following the failure of every post-Alan version of Black Lace, he decides to form the new Black Lace, a little bit like the New Seekers, I guess. A new generation, to give the brand some relevance for the new millennium, with the whole process recorded in the style of a TV talent show. Think Jeremy Kyle meets Pop Idol.
When your body's had enough of me and I'm laying flat out.
We get a chance here to see Colin and John's poker faces as a slow adult tries to sing with a camera pushed in their face.
On the floor, when you think I loved you all I can, I'm gonna love you a little bit more.
You're thinking Bullfrog, but I'm seeing a touch of Dene Michael's in this one, so I'm putting him through to the next round.
One of these early mornings, ooh, I'm gonna be wiping those weeping eyes. Those weeping eyes.
I think it's time for a John Player's Super King to gather our thoughts.
Mad.
A 5-piece vocal group are chosen, and a single recorded, but it quickly falls apart in a big waste of everyone's time. Colin's had enough of the UK and moves to Tenerife, playing hotels and restaurants around the island as Black Lace, finally releasing the Lost Blue album, featuring adult lyrics like Super Cock instead of Superman and Have a Screw instead of Agadoo. The internet's made it a little harder to hide his secret, and he's been spending some time cleaning it up, but eventually moves to mainland Spain on the promise of a residency in Costa Blanca. But after a few months, the venue's sold and the new owner isn't interested, so he returns to Tenerife to play his regular gigs. As we come to the end of the noughties, Colin eventually hangs up his Dene Agadoo signature model to focus on a covers band with friends, an opportunity to play with other musicians, feel part of a real band, and not just mime to Alan's vocals. It's been a roller coaster, but he's closing the book on the band's colourful legacy from his Tenerife retreat, a shitpop legend. One morning whilst Googling himself, he notices an article about ex-member Dene Michael's releasing an unofficial version of Agadoo from his home in Benidorm, so calls John, who reassures him that nothing will come of it, and he's right. Or is he?